Getting to call General Member for Warringah.
Thank you, Mr Speaker. And I would like to thank the Chair, Vivian Tom, and the members of the task force for the work that we have been undertaking. The annual statement into the progress towards the implementation of the Set the Standard report is important because I think it's too often in this place we might lose track of that progress, but also the need and urgency that we need to be reminded of in implementing all of those recommendations of the Set the Standard report. As I said last year, speaking to the annual statement, it's an important milestone and one that we cannot be complacent on. Progress is being made, as others have mentioned, but we are behind in key areas. Of the 28 recommendations, 13 have now been implemented, 6 have been partially implemented, and 8 are in progress. 1 is pending. In diversity, equality and inclusion, we need to make greater progress among those elected as parliamentarians and MOPS Act employees. Our measurement and public reporting also needs further work. Research consistently shows that greater diversity in the workplace means increased productivity, creativity and innovation alongside enhanced problem-solving skills. We work at the heart of Australian democracy, and it's essential that our workforce represents the diverse country we serve as parliamentarians. Professionalising management practice for the MOPS Act employees and professional development for MOPS Act employees continues to be implemented and is welcome. It's essential that those employed under the MOPS Act are managed appropriately by MPs, senators and their officers and have access to proper professional development programs to ensure that they can upskill and develop their craft, whether it be Chief of Staff, policy advisors, electorate officers and the many, many others. All of these roles are vital in supporting parliamentarians to do their jobs. Separately, the Independent Parliamentary Standards Commission remains work in progress and will be established this calendar year, I hope, with the goodwill of the task force. It's incredibly important because, as has been mentioned, that independent complaints mechanism and enforcement then of consequences really is an important step. It will be charged with enforcing the behaviour standards and the codes of conduct that all here have agreed to comply with, and will complement the Parliamentary Workplace Support Service, which is responsible to support our safe and respectful Commonwealth parliamentary workplaces. I'd like to thank the hard-working staff within there, the PWSS, for the work they're doing in assisting MOPS Act employees. But I do note that they are still quite frequently understaffed, and there is a small team to deal with a lot of parliamentarians and a lot of staff. And so ensuring there is proper ratios and proper staff capability, I think, is an important part of it. Finally, we can't talk about implementing Set the Standards and or complying with it without noticing that and pointing out that fundamental change to make this a more respectful, safe and inclusive work environment requires leadership from the top, from our most visible leaders on both sides, from all of us as members of Parliament. It's especially true in how we conduct ourselves as parliamentarians and in particular how we conduct ourselves in this place. One of the most visible times for this place is during question time, and I don't think a single member in this place would not be contacted by members of their communities quite horrified at the conduct that occurs here. Too often, political point scoring or seeking political advantage takes precedence over respectful conduct. And that is important in the context of Set the Standard because our staff and employees take note and take the lead from us, from leaders in this place. If we indicate that conduct or aggressive conduct or bullying conduct is acceptable, that is taken to be acceptable by staff, and that goes on down the chain. And people in positions of power end up in situations where conduct can be unacceptable. So I often hear from constituents and from Australians who are disappointed and ashamed of the conduct in this place, and I think if we are going to improve the standard for our staff, it must start with us. A good example, I would say, is ironically the schedule we have for today. The government has extended sitting till 10 p.m. Now this is to honour this is a place of debate, which is a good thing. But being mindful of what this means for staff that may well have come into this place at 6 or 7 a.m. this morning, that is a 15 to 16-hour day if they're staying here till 10 p.m. And so every decision in terms of the sitting of this place has an impact on staff. And so if we are going to talk about setting standards and a more respectful workplace, it must be in this way as well. So I commend my fellow members of the Parliamentary Task Force. I know we have more work to do. I thank them. We are behind schedule, but we will be getting there. And I thank the members in this place for staying committed to implementing the recommendations in full.